everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XVI. This is episode 12. Last time, we were adjusting to the new hideaway 5 years later. We've had a time skip, so we've been taking in the lore and the world of the game, all of the changes that have been made, and we've definitely got more to do in that regard as we're going to go and speak with Otto, because there's drama. There's always going to be some drama. And while we're adjusting to the new hideaway, I'm also adjusting to something new as well. So I wanted to put this disclaimer at the beginning of the episode that I've shifted my equipment a little bit. I'm no longer using the Elgato HD 60S, and we've bumped up the quality a little bit. So this should now be in 1440p, which is nice. So I should be able to record in 4K, but I only have 1440p monitors anyway, so it'll be kind of redundant. So there should be a little bit of a bump in quality. I was just kind of inspired to do that a little bit with these beautiful looking PlayStation 5 exclusives that come out, and I can't record them past 1080 on my previous hardware, so we've upgraded. However, that has come with some sort of technical hoops for me to jump through. So capturing footage that is 4K or, around that sort of area, their compromise is there's a little bit of a video delay. So what I've had to do is also put a slight delay on my webcam and my microphone by about like 500 milliseconds. So it's all synced up for you, hopefully, and I've done some rigorous testing to make sure, but it should be all good. Hopefully, if I didn't even mention it, you wouldn't even notice a difference. But just in case anything does crop up at some point, I just wanted to sort of communicate that. The only the only sacrifice I have to make is, as a result, I think I have like the tiniest bit of like audio delay for me personally, so I'll hear the sound effect a little bit later than I should, only by the tiniest amount, but it's the sacrifice we make for higher visual quality. So let me know how you feel about it, and we'll see how we go, shall we? Let's jump in to Final Fantasy XVI, episode 12.
Something has happened to Martha. We need to speak with Otto.
Very ominous music right now. Head to this area where we can talk to Otto, but I might speak with Vivian again, just to get a little bit of another look at this. Now, what was really awesome about this room and this NPC...
You today?
Ooh, cool. Talking to her is a good idea because, look, new dialogue options that weren't here before.
One would think.
My role was abundantly clear by now. I offer you and yours the guiding light of knowledge, that of matters military and political, both past and present, that it might illuminate your way ahead. For it is only by understanding what has come before that one might steer one's way toward a brighter future. Your role, meanwhile, is to ensure that I remain furnished with as much information on the state of the realm as your people can muster, in order that I might continue to appraise the dispositions of the great nations and those who rule them. And of course, to pay attention during my lectures. It would not do to appoint the storied Ninetales as your tutor, only to disregard her expert advice. Alright.
I admit.
When I took up my professor's bonnet and began teaching at the University of Canva, I did not think for a moment that I would one day count Sid the Outlaw among my pupils. But nor did I imagine that my fellow educators would have designs on my life, and we both know how that ended. Has it been a year already? Such is the peril of an overly inquisitive mind, I suppose. One is wont to uncover that which others would go to great lengths to ensure remained hidden. Were it not for you and our mutual friend having come to the rescue, my curiosity would likely have proved fatal. But instead, I was not only saved, but granted a new lease of life, as personal tutor to a band of outlaws, no less.
A far more reputable fellowship.
Than anything in the academic world, I assure you. So she's been here for about a year. Okay. The Crystalline Dominion, the neutral territory that has been conquered by the Empire of Sanbrequois.
My beloved homeland.
Oh, there you go. Cool. So she's from the Crystalline Dominion, and then while the Empire has moved in, she's needed a place to be. Okay. The crossroads of Valisthea, where one only has to stroll the streets to hear news from every far-flung corner of the realm. Its mother crystal yields more shards than any other, and its lands even now remain untouched by the blight. It's a blessed country indeed. Interesting. So a mother crystal with that's more abundant in its shards and also more resistant to the blight. I wonder why.
Or at least it was.
Until Sanbreque elected to invade and establish a new holy capital upon Twinside's heretofore neutral shores. It pains me to see the land I loved so changed, and even more to know that I did not predict it. I knew that Emperor Sylvester had designs on the Dominion, but to abandon Oriflamme, the seat of the Holy Empire since its inception, seemed too audacious a move even for him. It's pretty crazy how he moved houses at the perfect time, huh?
What is it that you wish to learn? Study it well, Clive.
I want to just give another little appreciation comment to how this game has put all of this together. Like, the way that it is so easily laid out of every single faction's movements and your characters and locations. And what's really cool is now we can see right here. So this is our hideaway. So this is what I wanted to look at properly, is apparently this hideaway and Benumir, this lake, is in the center here. So it looks like what has happened because we've got the Strait of Author here, and then this is all water. That when the original hideaway, there we go, Sid's hideaway is right here. When the original hideaway was destroyed, there must have been something that had just like let in more water or something and just like made this whole thing possible. Because I was wondering if maybe we were down here or in this area, somewhere around here. Because it was talking about how it was south of Rosaria, so I'm like, maybe it's over here, but it must be due to Titan's destruction.
Very good.
That's kind of what I wanted to look at the most, because it was confusing me to be in an area that looks like this, which is so painfully different to Sid's hideaway. Because this, I guess this map doesn't really make it very clear, right? This all just looks like land, but apparently all of this water is now through here, according to Vivian's map. So Titan must have like got up and gone, and just literally terraformed, and now this is all water where it wasn't before. At least according to Vivian's map, unless I'm just missing something painfully obvious.
What do we know, Otto?
Some lads from the Imperial garrison in Rosaria started a fight over at Martha's Rest. Blood was spilled, bones were broken. The usual. But somewhere in the middle of it all, Martha vanished without a word to anyone. And that ain't like her, Clive. Something's not right.
You think this was planned?
Course it bloody was. Ever since Eastpool, the Empire's been tightening its grip round the Duchy's balls. They've strung up everyone who's ever set eyes on a runaway, claiming they're traitors to the Holy Throne, conspiring to restore the House of Rosfield to power. And now it sounds like the bastards have turned their attentions to the pallbearers meek enough to stay put. Naturally, old Martha could see the way the wind was blowing, complained that it was getting harder and harder to take bearers in.
And now she's missing. If she's fallen into the hands of the Empire, we could be next.
Couple of curse breakers are already on their way to the inn. They should help speed up the search. But if this is as bad as I think it is, you might end up having to save their asses and all.
Don't worry, Otto. I'll make sure everyone gets home safe.
Nice. Can I do this yet? A new quest is available nearby. Cock and ball. Cock. All in good time. Okay.
Martha is a survivor. We'll find her. Ah, my favorite pupil.
Apparently there's an update here.
How may I help you today?
Okay, so it's an update on the situation map.
Here you are.
Okay, and we can see that it's because we are now moving from the hideaway to Martha's Rest. Or is it this stuff as well? I think it might be this as well. So we can see that there is a siege of the Crystalline Dominion. So the men of the Fist are moving in against the Imperial army. Yeah, cool. This is great. Okay, so this is the new one. The World at War, Clouds Over Storm. I like how everything is very clearly stated and in the timeline as well. This is cool. Clive returns to the hideaway to find it in ruins, devastated by Hugo Kupka and his minions. He refuses to let Sid's dream die, however, and rallies the survivors behind him, eventually leading them to build a new home in the heart of Benumir. Cool.
Thus ends today's lesson.
Okay. Yeah, that's very, very useful for when you're like, what's happening in the state of the world? The fact that we have a complete timeline of events of this whole entire game, not just showing our main characters' movements, but every single aspect of the world across the continents is really, really expansive. That's awesome.
Welcome back, Sid.
Welcome back, Sid. What do you want, Obulus?
Damn blighted bilge.
Is everything all right?
Aside from the holes in my hull, everything's roses.
The lake water doesn't agree with it, then?
That's one way of putting it. And unless you got some grand scheme to suck the black from the lake like we do in the atrium, that slurry'll keep eating away at the timber like young Tech does our lemon tarts. Suppose a coat of pitch might stave off the rot for a moon or so. Assuming we had any pitch, which we don't. Not any bloody more. Doubt the old tub's got more than a dozen runs left in him.
Of course, Obulus. Your skiff is our only means of reaching the mainland. Without it, we'd be lost.
Well, I'm glad someone round here sees it that way. To make pitch, you need pitch trees. But in case you haven't noticed, live trees are one of the 1,000 things sorely lacking in the Deadlands. Now, I'm not so unkind as to ask you to fell a faraway forest and lug the logs back here to the mere, which is why we'll be needing a suitable alternative. And it just so happens I once heard the thorny pitchers of Curltail Falls cover themselves in a sticky wax to trap birds and beetles and whatnot. Might be enough to tide me over.
Sounds easier than felling a faraway forest. That's for certain.
Nice, well we're headed in that direction anyway. I'm not sure what this reward icon is for. This is a new one. Thorny thistles and curl-tail thaws. Now we've been there before, and we're heading in that direction anyway to go and find the curse breakers. So good timing.
Never been to Curl-Tail Falls myself. Never seen a curl for that matter. Not that I want to. I heard they'll tear a man from cock to crown soon as look at him. Good thing all we need is some wax from a thorny pitcher. How hard can that be, hmm?
Oh, Obelus, why do I feel like a Quirrell is going to be at the falls this time now? Hey? Alright, I guess we can open our map and we can... Oh, nice, we can fast travel now. And we can go to all of these locations. Cool. I was wondering if all of this was going to be sealed off. This is good, because we get to... Yes! This is what I'm excited about, because I wanted to see how different this place can look over the past 5 years. I want to see if every place has changed, even like Eastpool and stuff after it was like leveled. Let's head to Northreach. Let's head to places that are optional so far instead of heading to our main objective, because I want to see. Okay. All right. This is looking kind of the same.
That the Glassgate flood has finally spread to the worm.
Let's see what the NPCs have to say.
Oriflamme's under ether.
All anyone ever wants anymore is a water grape. How much
Fresh cuts! Up! You'll not find a bruised pippin in the bushel.
I expected this place to be abandoned, I'll be honest with you.
Citizens are free to come and go as they please. Checkpoint's open to all. You'll find a little beyond Northreach, though. When the throne moved south, most of any sense followed.
So they definitely address the situation.
Did you hear? The gates to Heaven Hall in the Eyrie were breached by someone. Or something. The steward was in town earlier looking for men to come and repair it. But no one was keen to help.
Heaven Hall.
I want to see you again tonight. But the captain's late with our pay.
It's all right. I'll be waiting.
Isabel's here.
Time was there were great coin sacks swinging from every belt in town. Not anymore. Since the capital moved, they're all shriveled to the size of peas.
Yeah, this is also very interesting because what we've done here, we've affected their business because they had the whole deal going on with the Empire, and then they were moving anyway, so it's not like what we've done has affected it because they were already on their way, but by a matter of circumstance, it's easy to be like, you did this.
Seeing as business is scarce these days, the Dame decided we should all learn to read. I only wish she had some smaller books. My arms ache something fierce.
All right, ladies, we're no longer servicing the men, we're servicing our minds.
What can I do without sweet water and oil of talc? Still no caravan from the Dominion's perfumeries yet, then?
How can the Veil serve you today?
Nice. I do appreciate that even though this place doesn't really look vastly different after the Mother Crystal's destruction, we do have a lot of dialogue to soak in.
The realm may have changed,
but the people remain the same, ever driven by their appetites, many of which we here at the Vale are happy to sate. And if during that satiation they should prove inclined to unburden themselves of certain confidentialities, well, we certainly cannot stop them, just as they cannot stop us from sharing that information with our most intimate companions.
I will admit.
I did worry that the Imperial Court's decampment to the Dominion might be bad for business, but as it happens, what custom we lost in nobles and diplomats we gained in bored soldiers, and there are no lips looser than those of a bored soldier.
I fancy yours, meanwhile.
Might be a little too tight. Perhaps one of my girls could help you with that.
Before there was a North Reach.
There was the wall, a last line of defense shielding the capital and her farmsteads from anyone foolish enough to try and claim them.
But,
as a wise man once said, a wall is only as strong as those who stand atop it, and so the Empire attached a garrison to the gate, a garrison replete with vigorous young soldiers, pockets bulging with gil. Of course, there are a few things that set a merchant's eye to sparkling than a man who doesn't know if he's going to live out the week, and so bakers and boards, tinkers and tailors gathered from far and wide to lighten the purses of our loyal pikemen.
alas,
Everything that was once worth guarding has either been packed off to the south or lost to the floods, leaving our brave boys to languish in idleness, defenders of naught. Nice, yeah, because there's the whole Aether flood going on underneath the capital. Makes me wonder if similar cities with their mother crystals have a similar thing going on. Ask about changes to the North Reach.
not everyone left the capital.
When the Emperor ordered his throne carted off to the Dominion, but enough departed to change the Empire for good. Had Drake's Head remained, fewer may have followed, but without a mother crystal, Oriflamme could no longer sustain the industry upon which its citizens depended. The nobles were all but forced to shutter their manufactories, forcing the markets to close in turn for lack of custom.
In a few short moons.
Oriflamme and Northreach went from being the crown of the Empire and the ermine around its neck to a veritable ball and chain. And now many of us have begun to wonder why we're still here.
The Veil does what it can.
But our patrons' hearts are heavy, and many are quick to anger, occasionally, and most vexingly, at the expense of my poor girls. That sucks.
You are, of course, always welcome, Clive.
We're seeing the effects of like what has been happening, and it's kind of cool to see that they're still able to exist in some capacity, but there's clearly a shift. The place definitely doesn't look as messed up as I thought that it would. Like, it still looks the same. The crystal's gone, so that's a cool detail to see that that's obviously vanished, and you'd expect that it would have. It would be really awkward if it was still there. But genuinely, revisiting this place in my head, in my imagination, I pictured no green, no meadows, all dead crops, all dead, and barely anybody here. That's what I was thinking in like the 5 years of this place no longer being prosperous. That's what I would expect.
Not many travellers heading north these days. What with the fields barren and the Penitent's Gate closed.
The fields don't look that barren. I get that it's probably not the easiest thing to change a whole entire area, but it seems like a significant enough time skip.
The leaves are black with rot, the stalks weak, and the head nigh empty.
I guess we can see that some of it doesn't look that good. I guess I just pictured it looking so much worse, you know? But actually looking at this, I think that this is... it has changed visually. Just not, like, dramatic enough, I suppose. There's definitely less people on the road. Let's check the town of Moor to see if there are people here. Makes me wonder, like, is that whole capital just empty? There's just, like, nobody even living there because Aether flood?
If you're looking for a meal and a bed, I suggest you continue up the road to Northreach. You'll find little here but dust and despair, and certainly none of the bounty these parts once offered.
Also, I just realized that people won't start spitting on our face when they see us at the moment because we got our brand burned off.
I told you we should have gone to the Dominion. I told you!
How was I supposed to know the rye would all blacken after the mother fell? 20 years we served that man, and this is the thanks we get. I hope the bastard chokes on a bowl of fucking desert porridge.
I'm glad that we're coming and checking these places because this is entirely missable, it seems, of actually being able to see the effects on the land after what we've done.
I've got nothing to sell you, traveller. We've barely enough for ourselves.
Who does he think he is? Making me sweep up like a bloody branded.
Wow, and the details here that this crystal that was working before no longer working. They're having to wash things by hand because the aether's gone. Just like stuff like that they actually think about, and there's no oversight here, which is nice. The priest is gone.
So did the preacher. Stopped giving sermons. And then one day he was just gone.
I'm really glad that even down to like just the little atmospheric details like that, it's all changed. You feel that you are in a world where your actions and the events of the world do have a substantial impact. Whether or not I expected this place to be a little more blackened and blighted, it's really good to see from a dialogue perspective that things have definitely changed. I just figure we'll check this area just to see if there's any changes. I was half expecting to see a dead priest here. It's like, he's just up and vanished. I'm like, let's go check the chapel. It's weird to be able to even go around here when there's just nothing here. Oh, never mind. I eat my own hat. There's one thing of black blood. Isn't it just crazy how beautiful this place looks considering what we've done to it 5 years ago? And it's still gorgeous. Probably won't be able to live off the land very well, but you can appreciate the scenery. I assume that the gates... I wonder if the gates have guards. I still need to adjust to using Ramu as an ability. Nice. Not quite used to Ramu as an ability. But if we have a look at our gear and icons, we've got our 3 slots, which is awesome. We've got 1096 with our abilities. I'm almost at a point where I might just end up refunding and putting points into other things again, but we'll see. Let's upgrade Heatwave. So we're going to master it. So now that we've mastered it, it allows assignment to any icon. So if we don't like using Gouge, we can put Heatwave on. So that's weird. And then I can put another one of these here instead. So I can put ignition back. I might do Rising Flames. So I'll do Rising Flames, Flames of Rebirth, and I've got Heat Wave. Well, something that I was hoping for or wondering what would happen is if you put this on, if it would have like a wind effect to it, if you took it over, so it would not, instead of Heat Wave, it would be like Wind Wave or, you know, Thunder Wave or something like that. It would like be the element of the icon that you've got, but no, it is still just the fire one, which is kind of strange. There are some guards here. Can you let me in? I'm a tourist, mate. I'd like to have a look at the abandoned capital.
We watch over a corpse that does not yet know it's dead. The least we can do is see it is not defiled any further.
Away, traveller. The Penitent's Gate remains closed by order of the Imperial Throne.
Nice. I really like this. The Hand of Mimus. I remember encountering another one of these. I think they're all over the world, but we still haven't been able to interact with these yet. I assume that'll come up later. Interesting. Well, Northreach. Yeah, Northreach is still existing. Probably not as much as not as fucked up as I thought it would be. Let's go to Lost Wing. I want to see if there's any differences here.
Good day to you, Sid.
Oh, there you go. I was referred to as Sid by one of the people in Lost Wing.
The crystals we get from the tail are all but worthless.
It's not just the crystals. Bearers are having trouble with their magics as well.
Yeah, because we're seeing people that benefited from that mother crystal as well.
Haven't much, but you're free to look.
The Wages of Warcraft increases ability points by 20%? Oh, damn. Give me that.
Ah, yes.
That was just casually being sold by a random merchant over here? Okay.
Good day.
Man's just literally holding on to the ability point increase. It is said that in 60 years as combat trainer, Rasset the Younger saw to the training of over 10,000 soldiers, focusing on efficiency over brute strength. Fortunately, before he passed, he dictated his learnings to one of his acolytes so that future generations might partake in his wisdom. Nice. All right.
If you ever need a room, Sid, just say the word. I'll have a bed made up while you eat, and that goes for your friends too.
Nice.
We had to dig a new cellar to store all the unsold barrels.
We had to dig a new cellar. I can finally go this way, guys. This is finally accessible. It just took 5 years.
Good to see you, Sid, as always. Master Quentin's out back.
To what do we owe the honor?
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm so glad that we can check in with like the notable NPCs and get updates on what's going on.
Lest you wonder.
Hello, Sid.
It was never my intention to become the keeper of this inn, but when the opportunity presented itself, the benefits seemed all too obvious. For what better place to partake of the realm's dark secrets than in the company of thirsty travelers, made loose-tongued by their eagerness to wet their throats?
Yes.
My wine provides me information, even as it fills my coffers with coin. The coin I require to provide for my family.
If you must know.
The fall of Drake's Head has not been kind to the vineyards.
However,
your man Nigel's top dressing for the soil has prevented our beloved grapes from withering on the vine. And once again, we are in your debt. Oh, nice. So we've been able to keep them afloat.
Regrettably.
It appears your tireless war on the Mother Crystals has served to diminish the efficacy of magics. To compensate for this loss, the bearers in my care now feel compelled to redouble their exertions. This, knowing full well they are under no obligation whatsoever to use their talents, and that by doing so they only hasten their march to a painful end. I sought to show them that there are other ways to live. But if they would instead choose death, perhaps they are better off in your care. Wow.
Then I bid you good day.
Good day, sir.
Hey!
If we're to sup on sour news, let it be over sweet wine.
Went! Another round!
Alright. Updates to Lost Wing. All well and good, mate. Alright, let's get out of here. I love our ability to just freely come and go from these locations. So we've got 3 reeds, which is where we're supposed to be heading. I'm just going to quickly check on Eastpool. So this is an abandoned village because obviously it was massacred and we bear witness to it. But I want to see if anything's happened in the last 5 years. Oh man. Okay. Yep. Instant depression. Oh, there's people here. Oh, the bandits have moved in. This is the kind of great shit, like updating these locations to be filled with enemies instead now. Hedge wizard. Level up.
Let's get this over.
Clear this place out of bandits. How dare you reside in Eastpool? Can we go this way? This will take us to the dim, right? Okay. Eastpool, 873. May their flame burn ever in our hearts. Damn. So a monument was actually made as well. God, it's so eerie to have a location that was once filled with, like, NPCs living their life. And then being able to witness the effects of tyranny, and then bandits moving in all these years later because there's nothing else going on here. I don't think there's any need for us to go to the dim. Oh, hang on. I just realized that we were going to go into the cellar at Lost Wing, and I forgot to do that. See, there's still locations that we have not been able to go to yet. Riddock's Jump is still inaccessible. I'm not sure what the hell's going on there. We just can't even go past that area at the current moment in time. Interesting. Let's check out this cellar area, actually, back in Lost Wing. And then we'll go check in on Martha and see what's happening over there and do the side quest. How amazing is it, though, that you can just be like, yeah, I'll just fast travel over this way and not even have to, like, wait long at all. The game's loading times is amazing.
You're quite talented with that rod of yours.
Now, where am I going? They had to dig out a new something? Dig out a new cellar they were talking about. I think it's accessible from... yeah, accessible from here, I think, and then you go through. What's kind of interesting is it looks like this wasn't even part of the map at this point in time. And then it became part of the map.
Ready those 3 barrels round the front. Let's go on the caravan south.
So this whole time I was like, what the hell even is this on the map? And it turns out it was just not even... it just didn't even exist. We were looking at the map before it was even... we were looking at this pathway before it was even dug out. There'll probably be a side quest or something that'll be here. Otherwise, there's no point to this area even existing, right? Looks like there would be a fight here. Look at this open area. There's just nothing going on here. I expect there'll be something at some point. Okay, to the 3 reads. Yeah, the fast travel system in this game is great. You're like, let's do a little bit of exploration real quick. And then you're like, okay, I'm done. And then you can move on. You don't have to like go somewhere specific to fast travel. We do just be jumping off cliffs. No fall damage.
Easier than felling a forest, I said. Trees don't have teeth.
Nice. Gotta get used to adding Ramu into the mix of icons. We got the pitcher wax, a sticky substance found in the pitcher of a carnivorous plant which thrives in the Rosarian lowlands.
I can't imagine Obelisk needing any more than this. Time to head home.
Okay. No quirrels hanging around there. I'll go and return this to Obelisk. Quick little trip.
Finish with that.
Welcome back, Sid.
Welcome back, Sid.
Well, did you find me some wax?
Find is one way of putting it.
Got you your wax, sir.
Ugh! Reeks like a chocobo's arse. Well, I don't suppose the Argo will mind as long as he stays above the waves.
Argo? So your boat has a name? I didn't know.
Yeah. Same as my old man. He was a ferryman himself back before the Blight came. The boat's all I have left of him. And thanks to you, he'll sail another day.
Nice. Nice. Badge of Might. Attacked by 12, awarded to soldiers for unparalleled displays of courage on the field of battle. This feeling of accomplishment it enkindles in the recipient's heart is thought to enhance future performance. Nice. I will accept. I accept. We've got the defense on. We're rocking the defense. We had attack +7 before. So this confirms this is our first +1 accessory. This confirms that accessories can be on a +1 basis, I suppose. Didn't know that. Again, it just brings me back to what I was saying last episode, where it's like everything only goes up to like a +2. I was really expecting for us to hit like a point in the game where maybe things would open up and we'd be able to go to +3 and beyond and like increase our weapon strength or do different things, but the crafting items just kind of sitting in my inventory. Just sitting there in me inventory.
What happened here?
Come on. We need to find the others.
Damn, just there is an evil in the air everywhere. It's not just like Eastpool, it's just this whole region.
Imperials. If they hurt Martha, they'll have the whole rest to answer to.
God, I love the different music and atmospheric tracks.
I'm sorry, Sid. We were too late. The Imperials have already left.
We're best off staying where we are for now, I reckon. The boys from the garrison might still be nearby.
They've killed my bearer. I demand recompense.
Well, at least we don't have to hear that father telling the boy how to ice the fish. Look at this update, right? This place is fucked up. This place is more fucked up than Northreach.
Oi, look sharp!
Hey? What?
Good to see you, Sid. The soldiers who did this are long gone, I'm afraid. We're doing what we can to treat the wounded.
Doing what we can to treat the wounded, we are. Oh, they've broken the lift, they have. The scoundrels. Well, it's a good thing I've got a literal hunting dog. Are we actually going to utilize my dog's hunting capabilities to follow a scent? Like I thought we could in that side quest?
Sid? What said you'd be coming? I trust you don't mind. Also thought you might need some help. And it appears he was right.
You, could say that, yes. They're saying the Imperials descended like a storm. No one was spared their fury. Martha tried to step in and calm things down, but all our efforts got her were a pair of iron shackles and a hard march.
Any idea where?
Judging by their tracks, they headed towards Sorrowwise Bay.
To the Abbey, sheltering Martha's bearers.
The bastards. Jill and I will go after them. You take care of the people here.
We will. But, before you go, one of the locals heard something. He said the soldiers were talking about a culling. I don't know how big this is, but it doesn't sound good. Be careful out there, Sid.
You do the same.
Dark clouds gather. The quests are giving us different rewards now. Like it has, I don't know, there's a symbol that I'm not familiar with. Trying to look if it mentions this specific icon. This is battle, so this is different.
still. You're making it worse.
This culling business. You don't think the Empire means to rid the land of bearers, do you?
What in the world is going on?
Lads from the garrison all poured in, sword swinging, and took Martha away with them.
Cole is right. That was no tavern brawl. It was a message.
But a culling. Bearers are the property of the Empire. The garrison wouldn't have the authority to act alone. The orders would have had to have come from higher up.
Oh, thanks for clearing out the lift, sir. And now I can go through this way.
If those Orsons touch an hair on Martha's head, I'll kill them all myself.
Alright, so we head through Sorrow Eyes, back to the Abbey.
Look. Up ahead.
Oh, Martha's fine. Well...
Martha, are you hurt?
Don't worry about me. It's them at the Abbey who need you. You have to do something.
Tell us what happened.
What happened? The damn Black Shields, that's what happened.
The Black Shields?
The bastards caught wind. The abbot and I were helping bearers. They were gonna hang us both. When the sick rose from their beds. Poor souls turned on the Imperials. Distracted them long enough for me to get away.
Then... they may still be alive. Martha, do you think you can make it back to the inn? Cole is there with the other curse breakers.
No mention of the Black Shield. Cole is second in command of the Cursebreakers, though, who assists with the coordination of their troops' bearer-liberating activities under the supervision of his captain Doris, formerly a slave soldier of the Fist of the Republic, before being freed and taken in by those he now calls his brothers and sisters in arms. And the Cursebreakers are a unit drawn from those of fighting age and martial training among the residents of the Hideaway, who conduct operations to liberate bearers from slavery. Beginning as a loose collection of like-minded individuals in Sid's Hideaway chose to rid themselves of their bearer brands that they might serve the cause out in the field. The Order has greatly expanded both its ranks and its operations since the move to Benumir, all under Otto's watchful eye.
So, thank you, Clive.
What's the deal with these Black Shield fellas, then? Let's find out.
Black Shields? Is this some sort of twisted joke? There has only ever been one Order of Shields in Rosaria, and they fought to defend all her citizens.
Seems a step too far, even for the Empire. Are we too late?
There might still be someone inside.
No.
Damn it.
I thought you lot were all spent.
Murderers. They drove the bearers to this.
Wait. These two aren't turned.
That bitch of an innkeeper must have sent them. Colluding with the enemies of the Empire is a serious offence.
Ooh, look at these guys.
For their crimes shall they be punished. Such is the law. To dwell in darkness that we may purge the night and welcome lasting dawn. On these our swords we swear.
How dare you speak those words?
Have you no honor?
Clive.
This won't take long.
Damn, okay. We got the Daniels over here, and then we got the cooler Daniels over here. Look at these dudes. They look awesome, but they're like reciting like the shield. I think they must be doing something in relation to the original like shield pledge of Rosaria, so they're pretenders. And Clive is not happy. Stay down. The Black Shields. They're like, all right, guys, we need a cool name and we need cool armor to boot. Black and gold armor instead of the normal silver.
Is that all of them?
They're not popping up with any information about them.
I think so.
Quest complete. All right, I guess we'll wait. Yeah, what is that down the bottom? What is that little... What is this? What is this? We've got experience, ability point, skill, and like, what is this? Like, this is hideaway reputation? Like, the first thing that I can think of is it's like a renown reputation, doing stuff for people, doing stuff for people points. I'm not sure what this is yet. Yes. Yes.
I didn't see the abbot. He may still be alive.
Check that house behind you. Oh.
Found her.
Oh, damn it.
The abbot.
The bearers died protecting him, calling upon what little magic they had left in their bodies.
Clive. He's breathing.
Oh, someone else, not the abbot.
We're friends of Martha. We're here to help.
Are the Imperials dead?
They are. Every last one.
If only that were true. The Black Shields will return. The cuttings will continue. Rosaria will never be saved unless we save her. Tell Mother to beg Sid's aid and tell her this wasn't her fault.
I shall.
Sid! Where are you? Sid!
In here! We found a survivor!
Clive.
He's gone.
He's gone.
We've laid the abbot to rest, but the bearers, they didn't need to die like this.
No, they didn't. But it was their choice. They knew the fate that awaited them and chose to meet it on their terms, fighting for those who fought for them.
Martha said they rose from their beds, threw themselves at the Imperials so she and the abbot could escape.
I've gathered the bearers' remains. We should consign them to the tide.
That's what I was thinking. They were like all staring at the bag, and I'm like, they just grinded them all up into dust because they're all petrified and sand-like. They're like, all right, pick them up, crush them into the bag. I'm like, they're all staring at the bag, talking about the bearers. No. All right, we got the sack of ashes. All of you get together. No separate urns. All just the one sack of ash, and we'll wave it out on the top of the mountain. God damn. Here we go. The Black Shields are an order of knights instituted by Empress Annabella, because of course they are, in one of her first acts as vicereine of the newly established imperial province of Rosaria. They are tasked with purging the impurities from the province, which in practice primarily involves slaying bearers upon their slightest pretexts. Of course it's Annabella that's like, I'm going to make my own shields and they're going to be evil. Oh, I can't wait to see her again. It's going to be such a happy reunion to see my mother, dearest.
The drawbridge not far from here. Riddick's jump. The currents there are swift. If the abbot was still with us, he'd have taken the dust there himself and performed the casting. I'll get someone to... I'll do it.
Of course. Cole and I will remain here and see to the Imperials.
Interesting. Calling it like, okay. The way that he was like describing what the abbot would do with the ashes very much gave me sort of like the Final Fantasy X sending vibes. You need to send the dead to the far plane so they don't become fiends.
The fork to the drawbridge is back the way we came. It's where the abbot would have gone himself, had he not.
Ah, so we can go this way now.
The Imperials of old would never have stooped so low as to defile a house of Greeka, nor slaughter a man of faith in cold blood. May their goddess have mercy on their souls.
Is Jill coming with me then? Or is it just me and Torgal? I think Jill's staying behind. Oh, Ahrimans! Dude, really? Oh my god, they get a full-on intro. Whoa, he's got a full-on intro. What the fuck? Ahriman, rank C. Excuse me? Notorious marks? Okay, this is so cool. I was like, okay. Every now and then, Clive may encounter creatures larger, faster, and more ferocious than most. While flight is always an option, defeating these notorious marks can earn him not only renown, but also rare materials that may be used to craft new gear or upgrade existing items. It says earn him not only renown, and I think that was one of the rewards that popped up on the screen just then. Dude, there are notorious marks in the game. That's awesome. That makes me so happy. And it's like classic Final Fantasy monsters too. It's an Ahriman. Holy shit, that's awesome. Oh, the design looks so cool. The design looks so cool. Oh, it casts Doom? Wait. Wait. Whoa. Holy shit. Dude, what has Ahriman become? Whoa! This is amazing! Whoa, quake. Whoa. So extra.
Slow.
Wow. Oh my dear lord.
All yours, Corporal.
Oh, dude, look at these abilities. What the hell? That's bad. Oh my dear lord, get out of here! Get out of here! Wait! Oh my god. No, no. Oh my god. I was like, wait a minute. I accidentally pressed the wrong button and I was in Ramu fucking lock-on mode. That's just 1800 damage to me. Oh my god, I died. Holy shit. That is one hell of a surprise, and they're marked on the map. Oh, that's so hype. I was like, oh, cool, they've just added Armin's in the field now as an enemy to fight. But no, it's like it's a goddamn mini-boss. Oh my god. I'm so happy, dude. We got some goddamn challenging fights here. There's so many moves. It's doing like Quake and Doom.
Thank you, Founder.
And it's goddamn I-beams. That's awesome. All right, rematch. Well, we wanted a death status effect, and they're like, we'll do one better. We'll just do an instant kill move instead that's basically the same thing. The design looks so cool as well. I'm still not used to using Ramu yet. I mean business on this rematch. $30,000 stagger damage, dude. Oh my god. think you can avoid that.
Let's try.
Oh, come on. We need the victory music for these fights too. God damn. So I think that those are renown points because it says defeating these enemies can grant renown. Ooh, that was exhilarating.
You didn't see that coming.
Big Eye didn't see that coming. Dude, that's so cool. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Classic Final Fantasy monsters being notorious marks. I wonder if you can fight them at the tablet in the hideaway, if you can replay mark fights. That's great. That's sort of like the level of engagement that I'm looking for a lot more enemies out in the field. I'm so happy that there are like notorious marks, and it looks like there'll be a Moogle bounty board of some kind in the hideaway as well to really give us some of those challenging fights. And I'm aware that there's supposed to be New Game Plus like Final Fantasy mode, and then like I think something even after that potentially, which is kind of wild to think about. But I'm so happy with how that fight went, and I think more fights should be like that because there's a lot of fighting back there instead of the enemy just kind of taking what you give them and then you needing to just dance with their attacks. God damn, that was so fun. And I love that I died as well, just like seeing what can happen. Time to pay respect to the dead. I won't scatter your sorrows to the sea, to the heartless sea.
So shall the waters cleanse thee of thy burden, and bear it out to sea.
And now they are truly free.
I hope so. What of the Imperials?
A pyre was made. It's more than they deserve. We should go back. Cole is worried about Martha.
All right.
Okay. Not able to cross this bridge just yet. Perform the casting and return to Martha's Rest. Well, that was the casting. Probably afford to just travel to the obelisk. I'm still riding an exhilarating high from facing off that Ahriman. That's so cool.
We're best off staying where we are for now, I reckon.
No one survived then?
I'm sorry. Before he passed, one of them bade me tell you not to blame yourself.
Doesn't mean I won't. Doesn't mean their blood's not on my hands. Cole said you cast their remains. That was good of you. But it should have been me. This was all my fault.
How? You couldn't have known.
But I did. And I turned a deaf ear to the warnings like the fool I am. The rumours started moons ago. Of black-clad devils descending on villages in the dead of night to slit the throats of sleeping bearers. But I assumed it was all just nonsense concocted by the Empire. Nothing but a ghost story meant to make folk think twice about lending a hand to a fugitive bearer.
And in ordinary times you would have been right. What these Black Shields are doing is unthinkable. Which begs the question, why do it at all? My mother obviously has a hand in this. I cannot make sense of her actions.
And picking what goes on in that woman's head is a job for someone with more time on their hands. Right now, I need swords and men to wield them. preferably big ones. If those Imperials think they can come in here again and threaten my people, they're in for a rude awakening. Oh, before I forget, a Stolas from Otto landed just before you arrived. He asked me to tell you that Gav has returned.
Then we must as well. Will you be all right here, Martha?
We can stay longer if you wish.
No need. I'll be ready should the Imperials come calling. Though I wouldn't turn my nose up if you were to lend me a pair of them strapping young curse-breakers.
Let's go have a chat with old Gav. I wonder if renown is tied to... I'm trying to think of what it would be tied to, and the only thing I can think of is if we can gain renown from taking on marks, I would assume it would open up possibilities of things to be able to interact with in the world. If you're of a substantial renown, reputation, you know.
What in the world is going on?
If you don't mind, Sid, I'd like to stay here with Martha. Just until she finds someone to guard the rest, that is.
Well, there you go. You've got your strapping young lads.
Martha's a stout soul, all right. Anyone else would be out cold after what she's been through.
Those poor souls died to give me a chance to save others. I won't let their sacrifice be in vain.
Oh, hang on. What's this? The White-Winged Wonder. This is a different side mission icon that we've seen before. It's got a plus symbol. What do they mean by this? There's a chocobo involved.
Oi! You there! Don't just pass me by!
Rowan, the traveling trader.
You handy with that sword of yours? Course you are. Bet you're a bloody marvel with the thing. Now, question is, are you willing to use it or not? 'Cause a flock of noble chocobos are in need of help.
Chocobos?
You heard me right. Wild birds? The big ones? And not just any chocobos at that. Whiteheart and her flock are the bravest birds you ever did see. They protect travellers round these parts from bandits and the like.
Chocobos? Fighting bandits?
It's true. Why, they saved me from a gang of footpads only yesterday. Nasty lot they were too. And now they're back, looking to settle the score. Well, go on then. Don't just stand there. Go and help them.
The White-Winged Wonder. It's 100% Ambrosia. I'm finally getting the reunion with my own chocobo, aren't I? Like, finally.
All right.
There's a good lad.
Where can I find these chocobos?
I saw him cut across the way over yonder. The rotten scoundrels were driving the poor things towards the old dock. It's a dead end, that is. You save Whiteheart and her flock, you hear me? There ain't a pluckier bird in all the world. She's a hero to us locals. And don't worry, you'll know her when you see her right enough.
I'm sure I will.
And good luck to you. And give those no-good bastards a hiding from me.
I wonder what a lifespan of a chocobo is, actually. How long do they live for? Because it's been 18 years. And my chocobo, Ambrosia, was a white-winged wonder. Well, if it's a white chocobo that's missing an eye, it's mine.
Whiteheart is the pride of Rosaria. You mustn't let those bastards lay a finger on that noble bird. Find her and her flock. Make sure they're all right.
So what? Ambrosia's just been roaming Rosaria, being a noble steed without a master for 18 years?
Whiteheart. That's quite a name for a chocobo.
I can't even fathom the time between when we last saw her, if it is our chocobo, because the game made it kind of painfully obvious that we were gonna be reunited at some point, because I'm like, oh cool, the Chocobo has been left with a very recognizable injury, and it was not killed in the Night of Flames, right? So I'm like, cool, we'll see her again at some point. And then you go 13 years later and you're like, all right, okay. And then you go 5 years later again, you're like, oh, wow. They're really drawing this out. In the same sentence, in that same sort of field, it's been 18 years since we've seen Annabelle, our mother. So I wonder what she looks like, you know? There's so many questions in terms of how these characters in the world, what they've been up to in all this time.
A white feather. I thought Ambrosia was one of a kind.
She is, probably.
Speaking of brave birds. Looks like they went that way.
Nice. So he does remember Ambrosia. White Chocobo opinion. Love seeing the Chocobo tracks in the field. It reminds me of Final Fantasy VII when you're on the world map and you see the Chocobo tracks. Ooh, hang on a second. Look at this. Oh, I haven't even looked at these. The Phoenix Feather, a curiosity. A brilliant red feather discovered by Clive on his person upon waking from his battle with Typhon. And then a reminder of a promise made, a friendship forged, and a legacy inherited, which we saw in our Wall of Memories. But we've got our all our seals here. Trusted ally of Isabel, Martha, and Quentin. And our fragrant satchel. It's interesting that we still have this. Okay. I thought Ambrosia was one of a kind, he says. Are they setting us up for... Are we getting baited right now? Oh, there's bandits.
These chocobos aren't going down without a fight.
I see some bandits. There's no way that it's not her. Are you missing a left eye?
You didn't think you'd seen the last of us, did you? You've been bad for business. But I reckon someone will pay good coin to mount your head on their wall.
Not around here, they won't.
Oh. And why's that, eh?
Because she's something of a hero in these parts. You hurt her, and I hurt you.
Piss off. Or better still, how about we hurt you both?
All right then. But don't say I didn't warn you.
They're obscuring the eye, goddammit, Chocobo poachers.
You're finished.
You're finished. Harrier Hound. Oh, hello. Oh, dude, I keep pressing dodge as I get hit, unfortunately.
Oh, you're...
All right, Ambrosia. Sorry, Whiteheart. Why don't you turn your head a little bit this way so I can see your left eye? Where's your eye patch? Yep, there it is. Eye injury. It's my bird.
Safe now.
That's me bird.
Whiteheart, I presume.
Come on, Clive. Torgal recognizes.
Do you know her, boy?
Come on.
That scar. It couldn't be.
It is. I've been waiting 18 years for this moment. 18 years for the reunion.
Ambrosia.
Quick!
It is you. You survived. And you found yourself a flock.
Wait! Oi! Is it over? I thought I'd come and see how you were getting on. Oh, you sorted the bastards then. I knew you would. And the whole flock made it through unscathed.
Thankfully, they did. And not only that.
It's my bird, it is.
Well, I'll be. I never stopped to think our hero here might once have been someone's mound. Though I dare say she'd suit a fine fellow like yourself. Reckon our feathered friend must have learned a thing or two from her master. Kind-hearted warrior that you are. Bird like her would have cost a princely sum. You born a lord or something?
Well,
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to pry. Don't matter who you are. You done right by me.
What is it, girl?
She wants her master back, I reckon. Told you. And it seems her pals agree.
Is that it? You want to come with me?
Well, bugger me if this ain't a heartwarming sight. The lads down the stables will be hearing about this tonight. Oh, stay right where you are.
A saddle. Yeah. With the eye patch, this game is so satisfying, dude. Big boss. Big bird. It's you.
Doesn't she cut an handsome figure, eh?
She does indeed. How much do I owe you?
A few scraps of leather's the very least I owe old Whiteheart. Oh, I'll be sad to see her go, of course. But she's earned her right to happiness and more besides. Don't you worry. We'll get along just fine without her. You hear that, Whiteheart? You've earned yourself some time off. You have fun traveling with your master now. You seem awful familiar now I get a proper look at you. That's it. When those chocobos swarmed my cart on the road, didn't you? No, that can't be right. That fellow was a bearer.
Must have been my double.
Must have been, eh? Oh, that'll be the excitement getting to me. Silly sod that I am. Pay me no mind. Anyhow, best be on my way. Good luck to the both of you.
Wild that just removing the brand and even having the scar, they're just like,
You take care of your flock for now.
Cannot even see.
I need you.
You may used to be a bearer, even though you look like you've had your face half burned off. The white-winged wonder. That's so cool. Ambrosia's tack. A bespoke saddle and blinders worn by Clive's childhood chocobo Ambrosia. Queh. Displayed in Clive's chambers. Chocobo unlocked. So I think that green symbol with the plus is the doing something to unlock something. There you go. Makes sense. Mount up. After 18 long years, Clive has finally been reunited with his faithful steed. Hold R3 while in the field to summon Ambrosia and X to mount the chocobo. I've been waiting 18 years. Yo! So massive. I love that there's an eye patch. That was a joke, but the game gave it to me anyway. I love video games. Oh my god, we've got the chocobo theme. Oh no, just a little chime when you mount.
Fly, Ambrosia.
Do some drifts. Do some chocobo drifts.
Whoa.
Oh, you fucking can! You can do chocobo drifts. Yeah. Woo! Oh my god, yes. Can we pat the bird though, like we can pet the dog? Jill gets a chocobo as well. I was literally just about to look back. I'm like, is she running after me or does she get a bird as well? We can actually chocobo drift. Can we pick up items while we're running through? Yes. Do you know what would be awesome? Is I have a feeling that this probably isn't going to work, but how cool would mounted combat be? Like Elden Ring. Oh, hang on. Okay, there's not mounted combat, but you can attack. I actually thought we'd just automatically dismount. Oh, that's cool. I thought we'd just automatically dismount, but the bird can fight. Oh, I've been knocked off my bird. That was probably to be expected. That was probably to be expected. Eviscerated. Nice. Alright, so you don't get automatically dismounted, but if you get attacked, you will fall off. Dude. Wait, what? Hang on.
That's it.
Oh, hang on a second. You get a little bit of a little boost here if you rein in and then let go. Don't attack me. I'm running around. God, this is so much fun. Ambrosia definitely is one of a kind. And we don't have Ambrosia here, but we do have the Cullings, which is after being made vicereine of the newly annexed Rosarian territory, the Empress Annabella quietly established a host of loyal Imperial soldiers, the Black Shields, to maintain order. Though branded as keepers of the peace, their true purpose is to carry out what has become known as cullings, or brutal massacres of provincial bearers and those who show them sympathy. The killing is swift and indiscriminate, with the Shield's dispatch serving as judge, jury, and executioner, and the chaos left in their wake is usually enough to deliver entire settlements to ruin. I've got me a bird, I do. So we've got to return to the hideaway. Does Ambrosia go back to the hideaway too? I guess it'd be a hard thing putting a chocobo on a ferry. Should just roam the lands, I think.
I can walk from here.
Oh, auto dismount. No. All right, auto dismount. She's gone. My bird. That's so awesome, dude. Okay, to the hideaway. I like that reunion. That's cool. Seemingly a missable little side quest there. Obviously, it's...
Where's Gav?
It's definitely there for you to pay attention to, but it looks like you could totally skip it.
Gav should be back by now.
And how may I assist you today?
What is it that you wish to learn?
Of course.
I'm wondering what we're looking at in terms of the updates on pages like this. I'm wondering if it's just gonna... Is it gonna add Ambrosia in here somewhere? Yeah, there we go. Ambrosia just chilling. But she's been in there the whole time. I'm not gonna look at any of these just in case they're codex entries, because we'll go check in with tomes. Mortal foe. And he's hunting us, but then apparently he's no longer a mortal foe. For now.
The state of the realm is ever-changing, Clive.
It is ever-changing.
I hear there's trouble in Rosaria.
In the sky, where did they get their fish? They ain't flying fish, silly.
Is there something I might assist you with, Clive? I have a few new notes that might interest you.
I've come to tell you of my adventures.
You wish to study the tomes?
Yes, I do. Okay, let's see. Ambrosia has finally been updated. Clive's personal steed. Let's see. After losing her master at Phoenix Gate, Ambrosia found a new flock and led them in defending honest merchants from beasts and bandits, earning herself the love of the locals and the name Whiteheart. Indeed, it was one of the locals' insistence that she be defended in turn that led to her happy reunion with Clive. That's cool. Gav. His faithful scout, now one of Clive's closest and most trusted allies. He continues to put his legendary nose to work in service of the hideaway, the information he brings back from his expeditions proving invaluable for the curse breakers in their efforts to save bearers from servitude. Though he lost an eye during Hugo Kupka's attack on the old hideaway, his scouting senses remain undimmed. And Taya, yeah, she went from having like a little bit shorter hair and she got an upgrade. She got a super long ponytail now. Resident Physiker of Clive's hideaway and trusted ally of the cause. Branded as a bearer from birth and forced to serve as a battlefield healer, Taya put her surgical training to use in removing her own brand, a procedure she has since perfected and offers to any other escaped slave. Would we say it's perfected, though, if it leaves such a mark? I guess so. The Northern Territories, a bitterly cold corner of Storm's most northerly reaches. Now this is where Joshua currently is. Because I remember it showed that brief cutscene of him being in the Northern Territory. So a bitterly cold corner of Storm's most northerly reaches, the loose collection of nations that sprang up around the region erstwhile Mother Crystal, Drake's Eye, were united and pacified by Archduke Elwyn Rosfield of Rosaria in the year 854. However, in the years following Rosaria's annexation by the Empire, a combination of both the Blight's inexorable advance and Sanbreque's lack of interest in the territories has only worked to quicken the area's destabilization. Mysteries of the Realm. Missives, the second simplest method of long-distance communication used in Valisthea after whispering one's message to a traveling trader and trusting in the strength of their memory. Though letters are more prone to interception than stoluses, they have the advantage that they can be sent to those one does not know. Their major disadvantage, that the majority of the common folk of the Twins can neither read nor write, limiting their exchange to those of a certain level of education. Efforts are underway to offer such an education to the bearers of the Hideaway, and many are already more confident readers and writers than their former masters. Cool. Yeah, they're like, alright, we'll send a letter. And someone gets it, he's like, I can't fucking read, mate. The Araman. With their single unblinking eye, these winged horrors ever scan the horizon, seeking their next victims, using their singular ability to bend the very air around themselves and leap across great distances to take prey unawares. Those few who manage to survive this preliminary assault, however, are soon faced with a second horror, a crippling curse whispered from the lips of an abyssal maw, leaving them with but moments to lament their fates. I like that Doom is in this game, and it's just literally sort of like an insta-kill, so it does have the same sort of death status effect. I love that we've got some classics here. Like we've got our Iron Giants, our Aramans, our Bombs, Adamantoises, Morbowls, and then, you know, classic beasties, and obviously you got Chocobos. I'm just wondering what else we've got. There's got to be Quirls in this game, because there's the Quirl Falls. We know that they exist. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enemies that we haven't faced yet. Something that I will say is genuinely a little bit surprising to me is the fact that the bestiary is quite small. When you look at it here, it's only a few pages. This is actually, and then we've got 4 here as well, but this looks to be the icon page for the most part, and then our beginning of the bestiary sort of starts here. So we've got 4 important players that are not currently here, one of which I would assume to be Ultima. Not sure what else would be here, considering all the icons have revealed themselves here almost, but this will be curious. But then on the lower pages, it is still quite small, right? Only 3 pages long. I do like the enemies that we face, but you do reminisce sometimes on the older Final Fantasy games where you pull open your strategy guide and you're like, holy crap. Like, let me pull out an example. And I don't actually know if I have this directly on hand, actually. No. I haven't put them in my drawers since I moved house, but I have them in a box somewhere, but I've got my original strategy guides for the older Final Fantasy games. And in Final Fantasy XII, for the PlayStation 2 strategy guide, not the Zodiac Age, is so beautifully crafted and put together, but the bestiary segment is just huge. It's just massive. So many different creatures in that game. So many. So I will express a slight disappointment to the small size of the bestiary. I think even Final Fantasy 15 had boasted quite a substantial repertoire of foes.
Did you learn everything you needed?
Everyone used to live in the sky.
But I will say that the fights are nonetheless very impressive.
But none of the curse breakers have returned.
They'll be fine. Sid wouldn't be here if they weren't.
Ah, Clive! Oh, I've missed that scowl.
Where's my report?
What, no kind words for your old pal Gav?
If it's kind words you're after, you're fishing in the wrong barrel. Now sit down, you fool.
So, you remember how quick the Empire was to occupy the Dominion after the fall of Drake's head? And how pissed off all the other nations were that they didn't think to do it first?
Half a century of independence gone at the whim of a madman. So much for their bloody treaty.
Clearly, the promise of unblighted land and the world's supply of crystals was too much for his radiance to resist. And now the Republic's finally decided to follow suit, using liberation as an excuse to declare war on Sambrek. Lined up right outside the Dominion's gates as we speak, looking to starve the Imperials into submission.
And now all eyes are on the Strait of Author.
While the two nations beat their shields, the rest sharpen their daggers, ready to set upon the war-weary victor. They'll never see us coming. It's time we moved on the mother crystals.
How goddamn gorgeous was that view of the city with that mother crystal, by the way? It was beautiful. The Crystalline Impasse is a conflict fought between the Holy Empire of Sanbrek and the Republic of Dalmatia in the year 878, largely concerning control of the Crystalline Dominion. The Dominion had previously been the subject of a non-aggression pact between the Valastean nations, but in 873, the Empire claimed Twinside for its new capital, an act which eventually spurred the Dalmex into military action, because that's close to their home turf. Meanwhile, Waloed are just sitting on their butts. They're like, whatever. We'll just, they're not fighting us anymore, so we'll just sit on our butts for 5 years. We haven't even seen King Barnaby's reaction to Benedicta dying either. The only sort of reaction we got was Titans, and that's why he did his little rampage. But seeing quite little of Waloed at the moment.
Four mother crystals remain in Storm and Ash. Drake's Breath near Ironhome. Drake's Fang in Dalmekia. Drake's Spine in Waloed.
Fang Spine.
And Drake's Tail here in the Crystalline Dominion.
With the bulk of the Republican army marching to Twinside, Drake's Fang will be left exposed.
That is exactly the move Kupka would anticipate. And if there is anything these past 5 years have taught us, is that he loves his traps. There is one place, however, where nobody will be expecting us to go.
Drake's Breath.
There's a shitload of sea between us and it, and I've never been much of a swimmer.
I have an acquaintance in Port Isolde who may be able to help.
Who's that then?
My uncle, Byron Rossfield.
Lord Byron Rossfield of the Seven High Houses, the trade magnate with holdings in over 100 cities. Wait, Rossfield. And you're a Rossfield, of course.
My uncle's name gave him his start in the world, but it was his acumen which earned him his fortune, along with a handsome fleet of ships.
Well, it's settled then. What are we waiting for, eh? Huh?
Gav's got that sprightly energy. Okay, cool. We got the names of the other mother crystals too, and so they're all Drake's related. Drake's head, tail, fang, spine, all sorts. Cool, cool, cool. Otto's counter is now open. See what I was saying? How it's like now it feels like we're in the era of the game actually properly beginning. The following hideaway facilities are now available. We've got Alliant Reports, the Patron's Whisper, and the Hunt Board. It is a hunt board. I'm so excited. All three are located near Otto. A nice little hub for doing cool stuff. Let's go. Can you replay previous hunts? I wonder.
What are we waiting for, indeed?
The fruits of her labors. Prepare yourself to close your eyes every time you open this thing. Replay any previously cleared stage and be awarded a score-based performance, and then hone your battle skills in a training arena. If you commence to the training in here, can you face off against... Can we choose our enemies to face off against in here? Haha, yes. No? No. Oh. Only so you can do the Iron Giant. You can't replay hunts, maybe. Wow, this is really interesting, the amount of stats that are available here for you. I like that you can just come here and just fuck around and practice against certain enemies, but being able to replay the hunts would be the greatest part, I think. And then you defeat one and another takes its place. Gotcha. Cool. Alright. So, unfortunately, cannot rebattle the Araman for some reason. But we also still have a locked feature here, so no idea what that'll actually end up being. No idea yet.
Right to touch him.
I don't know. You go first.
Okay, yeah. So, will it be? That it? Fine.
Off limits, that means you. Well, yes, of course that's it, Blackthorn, because there's not really anything to do with you. Let's have a look at this side quest down here. So we're going to go for the Iron Kingdom's Mother Crystal while they're at war, which is a great opportunity.
Now, Martel, you'll try your apple soon enough. See, I am was hoping to speak to you.
Is everything all right?
Oh, yeah, it's just, well, as you know, we've been trying to grow fruit down here.
It's good to know that something of the old hideaway still lives on.
Martel's pride and joy. It was a sapling when she rescued it from the rubble, but look at it now. All our hard work's finally paying off. I took it on, you see, after she died, and now the fruit's finally ready to eat. And not only is it ready, it's actually tasty. Sweet as you like, in fact. She bred the bitter right out of it.
Impressive. And welcome news to more than a few, I'd say.
I thought this first harvest could go to the curse breakers, on account of all they do for the hideaway. You couldn't take them some, could you? Seems better them coming from you.
It'll be nice being the bearer of good news for a change.
Oh, thank you.
The bearer?
See? And once they've had their share, I'll see to it that everyone else gets some. Here you go. Martel apples, they're called, in honor of her memory. You hear that, Martel? Today's finally the day.
The fruits of her labors. Alright. 2 baskets of Martel apples.
This tongue here pulls the black from the lake water and renders it.
I knew there would be a side quest here at some point. How could there not be?
You two look like you could use something to eat. Here. Courtesy of Martel.
A basket of Martel apples grown and picked by Cormac for sample by Hideaway residents.
Martel. Now, where have I heard that name before?
Weren't she the girl from the Furrows?
Course she was. An odd sort, that one. Loved plants more than people.
Aye, and brave as a bane might. Remember when she ran back into the hideaway to collect them trees when Titan attacked? Wait.
These aren't those apples, are they? Well, I'll be. She'd have been proud, and rightly so. Thank you, Sid.
Others weren't so lucky, though.
A gift from the backyard. For your service.
Blimey, these take me back. I haven't seen a hideaway apple since. Old Sid was the only one who could stomach the things. He'd nab them right from the branch, make Martel livid. Not that anyone could stay mad at the man for long.
That sounds like the Sid I knew, all right.
Planning on keeping that lot to yourselves, were you? Hang on. These aren't Martels, are they? I'm glad to see someone carried on what she started. Can't have been easy, not in the Deadlands. Reckon she'd be happy knowing all her hard work didn't go to waste. Clive, tell the lad down in the backyard to run some over for me, will you?
Not so much as a thank you. Well, I've got some manners at least. Thanks, Sid. You can leave the basket with me. I'll see that the others get their share. Oh, and give our compliments to the gardener, won't you?
That was the last of the apples. I should head to the backyard and pass along everyone's regards.
Can't remember the last time I had fresh fruit. Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, hang on. Desiree with the reputation symbol.
Oh, Clive! Welcome to the Patron's Whisper.
The Patron's Whisper? Does that mean someone else is taking care of our friend's donations?
Oh no, that's still me. It's just Karen has her toll, Blackthorn has his hammer. I thought a new name might liven things up. I still catalogue every item that arrives, in addition to setting aside those tokens of appreciation the sender has specified are to be presented to you personally. Would you like to see if we have any?
Yes.
Business is busy.
On top of my regular duties here at the Whisper, Otto has piled countless other tasks, from transcribing and sorting Stolas reports to penning needful missives. Not that I'm complaining, mind. I enjoy writing. I've ever since I learned my letters from Jara back in the old hideaway. I won't claim to have been his best student, though. That honour goes to Shirley.
Still.
I'd like to think Jara would be proud of me too, were he with us today.
Words are immortal.
They live on in others, and if the words are your own, so too will you. Do you know who told me that? It was Jara, in our last lesson before Titan came. It stayed with me ever since his passing and inspired me to become what I am today. I imagine we survivors all have a story like that, of someone who remains with us even though they're gone.
Come to claim your just desserts?
The Patron's Whisper, so completing side quest will earn Clive renown. There it is, inspiring nameless benefactors from across the Twins to donate money or items to Clive's cause. Visit Desiree at the Patron's Whisper in the Hideaway's mess to view current renown level and accept any donations available. Oh wow, we get ability points this way. Awesome. A spark of hope. Your merry band of outlaws and its dashing deeds of daring do are all the talk amongst the ladies of the court. We have gathered together several items of worth that you might continue your gallantry by a heart-stuck dowager. Crafting items that I will not use, but those ability points are very welcome.
You earned this.
Nice. Respect. Our order is one built on pride, but that does not mean we are too proud to give thanks where thanks is due. We may have failed Martha once, but never again. The Blood Axes. 1 meteorite? Sir, 1 meteorite? Sheesh. For 45 renown? Where's my ability points? This donation will be available upon receiving a renown rating of 85, a Berserker ring, and then more donations will become available once achieving a renown rating of 100. Okay.
All done?
All done?
Fancy a look at the list, do you?
Yes, I do, actually. Ask about gout.
Oh, same old.
Otto's got me reading through the reports coming in from our allies and picking out what problems need dealing with now and what can be saved for later. It was still early days back in the old place, so I could just about handle the job myself. State of the world now, though, I need Dee's help to sift through it all. And that's just the sifting. Actually solving any of these problems is a whole other headache. The curse breakers take the urgent stuff, but we're still stuck waiting for volunteers to handle the rest. So, if you ever find yourself at a loose end, well, you know where to find me. So much has happened since that night, feels like a lifetime ago. But we'll never forget those who didn't make it. Kenneth, Martel, they're still with us in our hearts.
And Sid?
When I found out he was gone, I thought that was it for us. But he's
with us too.
With us and in you. You took his name and gave us hope when we had none. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is, don't be a stranger, eh? A hideaway ain't nothing without its Sid. Again, I mentioned this when I first heard it. Either voice the whole line or none of it. It's so weird when it just voices like the beginning of it. You're already got the voice actor in the booth talking. Get him to finish the sentence.
Here you go.
Nothing. Okay.
Seen enough?
This is what I'm excited about. Hello, Nectar. Clive, there you are, Cooper. I've been looking all over for you. I have to read Nectar's subtitles really quick just in case. The matter is this, Kupo.
The hunt board. It's where the Cursebreakers post sightings of particularly fearsome beasts. Those that might pose a threat to our operations if they were left to roam free. Just because they can't be dealt with when they're spotted, doesn't mean they can't be dealt with later. Was that what you wanted to know?
Of course not, Kupo. I knew all that already. And that's why I need your help, as I need not remind you, Kupo, I'm the mightiest of all the Moogles. No friend of the forest or ghoul of the great Greensward can measure up to Nectar the Bold. So I need you to slay them all, Kupo. Subtitles move too fast for Moogles.
Well, leaving your mightiness aside for the moment, the people of Valisthea are going through a lot already. What with the Blight and the war. The last thing they need is ungodly fiends terrorizing them on top of everything else. So if the curse breakers are too busy to help, then perhaps I can. Or at least I can try.
Oh, thank you, Kupo. It's so good to have found someone who understands me, Kupo. I'll stay here then and keep an eye on all the billets that get posted on the board. So if there's anything you need to know, Kupo, I'm your Moogle. Yeah, they need to slow down the subtitles. They're not even naturally able to be read. And then if you don't even have subtitles on, what happens? Are there automatic subtitles for the Moogle? Or are they just no subtitles? Did you see that all the billets are marked with a location, Kupo? That's where the horrible horror in question was seen. But you can't be expected to memorize every last place name in the whole wide realm. You're only human, Kupo. So if the place name doesn't tingle your pom-pom, Kupo, try reading the witness's statement. Sometimes there are other details in them that might help you track the nasties down and finish them off. It's precisely what you see before you, Kupo. The Cursebreakers note down the details of any particularly dangerous monsters they hear about or encounter in the course of their duties, Kupo. And post the billets here, Kupo, so that any stout soul who wishes to do the realm a service might set out to slaughter an ungodly horror or two, which is where you come in, Kupo. As for me, I have the most important duty of all, painting a big red cross over each and every one you cut down, Kupo, so that everyone can sleep at night knowing the realm is a safer place. Why didn't this update with a tick? Did you see that the Cursebreakers give every billet of rank a riskiness, Kupo? From this thing could kill you with a single swipe to a 7-nation army couldn't scratch this thing's skin. But I'm sure you'll be fine, Kupo. Well, not sure, but that's one risk I'm willing to take. The Cursebreakers don't just tack up any old rumors to this board, you know. They take great pains to verify every little detail, Kupo. So don't you go letting all of their hard work go to waste, Kupo. Don't you let them down. Okay, there you go. Did I ever tell you about the time I visited the Great Continent, Kupo?
I don't think so.
Of course I didn't, because I've never been, Kupo. Look at these wings. They look like the sort that might carry a Moogle across countless leagues of open sea. They call me Neck to the Bold, not Neck to the Stupid, Kupo. Hang on. Hang on a minute. We've got a reference to a great continent over leagues of ocean. So there's another continent somewhere. It's not just Storm and Ash. Which I was going to say, like, Storm and Ash seems like for the whole world, it seems quite small. But this is our first hint at something larger, I think. The Great Continent.
I don't think so.
Countless leagues of open sea. I'm gonna have to we'll check in with Tomes with the new lore stuff that's been added here. Let's have a look at the hunt board. What do we got? The hunt board! Reports of fiends terrorizing the countryside are posted to the hunt board in hopes that fearless heroes, such as Clive, will take it upon themselves to hunt down and slay the notorious marks. We've already done one, which is cool, so we get to see... We were able to work on them before we even... checked this board. A member of the Blood Axes stationed at Martha's Rest reported that he had been set upon in the marshes by an otherworldly horror with a single staring eye. It flew at him on bony bat's wings, scratching at him with claws. Black as night, as sharp as razors. Naturally, he fled in terror, but if a battle-hardened Blood Axe cannot cope with the mere sight of such a creature, what hope do the rest of us have? What else we got? The Angel of Death. It doesn't even have an image. A trader coming by the way of Caer Norvent met with a troop of Cursebreakers traveling in the opposite direction and warned them of a wicked, winged harpy on the road ahead, his eyes wild and flickering. Though the Cursebreakers saw nothing untoward on their own journey through the pass, the sound of cackling laughter from the trees ensured that they kept up a brisk pace. An Angel of Death. Cool. And Belphegor. Reports have been received of a wild avis of striking size making its nest atop the hill adjacent to Eastpool. Though all efforts are being made not to rouse the beast's ire, it is surely but a matter of time before it needs to be fed. or it needs to feed. I hereby petition any brave volunteers to march to the northern border that we might cut the fiend down before it makes trenches of the nearby villages. So B rank. The Angel of Death and Belphegor. So Clairview and Sanbreque and the Broken Hilt in Rosaria. Okay. Do these get added to... I don't think they get added to anything. It would be really nice if the journal could have a hunts section, I think. So we're going to have to, like, mark them. I guess you keep them memorized. Would be nice if you could put them in the journal, for sure. I'll speak with Vivian after I chat with Tomes. Because, again, I'll reiterate that if you accidentally click on an entry with Vivian... it marks one of the lore entries as red, so I'm just going to make sure that we do it this way first. Get some updates on the lore that we've just learned. Who are you, lass?
I am a tinker by trade, but I'm
yes.
fascinated with the art of healing.
My knowledge is yours. I have compiled some new entries, if you would like to see them. You wish to study the tomes?
Oh, it's Nectar. God damn, this whole time we've just been waiting for... Nectar could have been in here a million years ago, when we first met. The Hideaway's resident Moogle, whom Sid found trapped between fallen ruins and brought back to his deadland home. While all others hear its words as naught but a succession of adorable Kupo-like cries, Clive is somehow able to make sense of them, learning that the creature professes to be a mighty hero who would see the terrible fiends that plague the realm laid low, for which purpose it persists in drawing Clive's attention to the hunt board. Cool. Desiree is a scribe and secretary for the Hideaway. Desiree is also entrusted with the keeping of all donations to the cause from Clive's allies and patrons. Though she could never read nor write when she first came to the Hideaway, Desiree labored night and day to learn her letters, and now the quill is never far from her hand. Her ever-cheerful demeanor is a bright light to those who make their homes atop the blackened mare. I can't wait to see what Byron Rosfeld looks like. We've got an uncle. Younger brother of the late Archduke Elwyn and warden of Port Isolde, a thriving trading port in the south of Rosaria. Byron inherited a small fortune from his noble family, which he built into a large one by virtue of his mercantile wiles and adventurous spirit. There is not a trading house nor a tap house in Valistea and beyond that does not have a tale to tell of Lord Byron Rosfeld. Okay. We got more family. I wonder if he's going to look similar to Elwyn or not. The Seven High Houses, the highest noble houses of old Rosaria, of which House Rosfield is the first and foremost. They have their roots in the ruling dynasties of the small independent nations that were united upon the founding of the duchy. The houses had a prominent voice in ducal politics, but this was silenced when the region fell to the Empire and Empress Annabella took Rosaria's reins. Port Isolde is a port city situated on the southwestern coast of the imperial province of Rosaria. Only Rosalith rivals its size, and in the glory days of Archduke Elwyn's reign, its streets bustled with traders from across Valistea. Sadly, those days are long since gone, and Sanbrequois occupation has seen everything, from marketplaces to military institutions, subverted to the will of the Empire. Drake's Spine is a mother crystal situated in Stonehere, capital of the Kingdom of Waloed. Its sheer walls strikingly similar to the towering cliffs that line the coasts of Ash. The interior can only be gained by means of a solitary stone span that stretches from the heart of the city proper. Being the last remaining mother crystal on Ash, the crystals harvested from its surface are a vital lifeline for the Walooda people, but even then their number is far from enough to sate the kingdom's appetite, thus forcing her king to seek resources elsewhere. So yeah, Ash obviously only has the one mother crystal, and then Storm has 4. And they're all referred to as different Drake's things. So Drake's head, tail, breath, spine, and fang. Drake's tail is a mother crystal located in the Crystalline Dominion. What a beautiful looking city though. It is one of only 5 remaining in Valistea and is the largest of its kind. Silhouetted by the setting sun, the islands of the Dominion spread out before it. The tale is truly a wonder to behold. Now it says one of only 5 remaining. Like, the way that it talks about some of the mother crystals sometimes is, did there used to be more? Were there others on the continent of Ash? You know? That's another question. I don't know if I've read anything about previous mother crystals that are unknown. Located in the Dalmatian Republic, unlike its sisters who jut from the earth to tower above the landscape, Drake's Fang is completely enclosed within the vast hollow of an ageless mountain, its citrine fingers reaching inward to the barrow's heart. Excavation of these crystals has over centuries showered the Dalmex with substantial fortune, and as such is seen as a symbol of the nation's prosperity. Okay, now this makes a lot of sense to me, because I was going to mention this, is I thought that there were only 4 mother crystals, right?
Everything you needed?
I thought that there was only 4, because when you look at the map, you go, come on, you go, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And that was the 4 in my mind. I thought there was only 4. And something that we forget is this here is a mother crystal. It's just inward, right? It's an underground crystal. And I thought that this was just another location. I thought this was something else. But it does make sense that that would be a mother crystal too. There you go.
Is there something I might assist you?
Mysteries of the Realm. Sorry. Just got something in here. Notorious marks. While afield on their expeditionary excursions, the Cursebreakers will oft learn of creatures, or somewhat unsurprisingly humans, that for reasons varying from the loss of natural habitat or a lack of food to overexposure to aether, have begun to exhibit uncharacteristically violent behavior. Due to the threat they pose to the realm and her peaceful inhabitants, these terrors are deemed notorious marks, and a bounty is placed on their heads.
Did you learn everything you needed?
Thank you, Tomes.
The Cursebreakers send their thanks and their compliments. They were clearly very fond of Martel.
They remembered her? After all these years? I suppose she was very kind, even to a tongue-tied lummox like me. You were one of the good ones, Martel. Why did you have to die? She put everything into her work. She wasn't going to rest until we had fruit sweet enough to enjoy. And now we do. When she died, I named a sapling after her. And now it's a full-grown tree. Martel lives on through the fruit it bears.
And through you. Her dream would have died with her, had you not kept it alive. That's something to be proud of.
I didn't do anything really, but thank you. You're kinder to me than I deserve.
By the way, Otto's expecting some of your crop. And I wouldn't mind some of it either, if that's not too much to ask.
Of course not. I'll see that you're both well provided for. They like your fruit, Martel. Isn't that wonderful? I'd say it's about time we planted you some siblings, don't you think?
Martel is a nice name for a fruit too. Martel's apples. I like that a lot. Fruit of her labors. Good payoff. A basket of slightly stunted, somewhat sweet apples grown from the blighted earth thanks to the dedication and perseverance of one woman, Martel, may she rest in peace. Still, we'll grow something worth eating one of these days. When you do, you'll have first pick, displayed in Clive's chambers. Nice. Speaking of Clive's chambers, we're going to head there now because we've got more at the reading table, and we'll check the wall of memories.
Did you
through the forge today?
I guess Jill is in here, or no, she's still outside. I never know where Jill's gonna be. Sometimes she just creeps up on you. A bird by any other name. Oh, Jill. Forgive my insistence on writing you these silly letters. Would that we had more time to speak to each other in person, but for every day we spend together it feels as though we must suffer another two apart. Aren't we, like, together all the time? Aren't you my literal companion? Wherever I seek to go, you are where I need to be, you know? Weird, right? I'm like, wherever I go, that's where you are. You are running with me in the field everywhere, which is kind of funny. Forgive my insistence on writing you these silly letters. Would that we had more time to speak to each other in person, but for every day we spend together it feels as though we must suffer another two apart. I'm gladdened to hear of your most unexpected reunion with Ambrosia, or should I say Whiteheart. You told me once how your chocobo sacrificed herself to protect you that night at Phoenix Gate, and here so many years later we find she has spent her life doing that exact same thing, defending others. Some things never change, do they, Clive? From Jill. I like that she's like, forgive my insistence on writing you these silly letters, but this is the first letter we've gotten from her. And she's been with us the whole time. But okay, Jill. Look at my memories. I got Ambrosia's tack. Saddle and blind is crafted specifically for Clive's childhood chocobo Ambrosia. And Martell's apples. Though she was to lose her life from the wounds she sustained in Kupka's attack on the hideaway, her legacy lives on in the saplings she saved from the ruins. Nice. Lovely. And with that one, we bring this episode of Final Fantasy XVI to a close. Next time, we're going to go do some hunts. We've got a couple of things to go and have a look at. And then we'll be going to Hawk's Cry Cliff for the Gathering Storm. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Final Fantasy XVI, and I'll see you next time.